but at the same time, it's a tough job. He's got to make those tough calls. And, tough time to be doing it. Very tough on everyone.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about a lot of things tonight with you, because we really never had that opportunity to sit down with you and just go through everything. So we'll talk later on about HARP and weather manipulation, but some of your latest work deals with controlling the human mind. Tell me what got you into that area.
Well, this was, I had always been interested in performance enhancement in terms of mental performance. You have all these health spas these days, but really, from my perspective, what's been needed for a very long time is brain spa. Something that looks at all the tools and technology that are available to really enhance our thinking and our mental capacities, and I think there's a lot to be said for that. And the mind control issue, the mind effects issue, generally kind of comes from that base. And then as I ran into the HARP story years and years ago, that component of it jumped out at me pretty strongly. In fact, that's what really concerned me more than any other issue. And then as you dive into those areas, and as I began to do full-time work in the area, the mind effects, it's the most fertile ground for military planners. It is one of the biggest areas of research in terms of trying to figure out how to manipulate, mold, shape, form the mind, and therefore drive the population. It happens on a lot of levels. So to me, from the very beginning, it became the primary issue. Then coming out of politics, where it really is about mind effects, if you will, a family of politicians, it's about making your point and getting your point across. And so, the old style was debate. You got all the issues, you got good hammered out debate, and we don't have that anymore. We have a much, much different way of shaping and molding public opinion, one that I find pretty much objectionable, just in the way it's taken. It's more manipulation, less persuasion.
Oh my gosh, and science has jumped in on it too. I've been talking to experts in marketing and developing of the mind, and they've got this down, Nick, to a science, don't they?
Yeah. Oh yeah. In fact, using tools to actually monitor brain centers, in terms of figuring out what stimulates the brain in terms of visual images, sound sequences. All of that is becoming very, very well understood. It's integrated into marketing, advertising, gaming, using three-dimensional MRIs and other ways of sort of looking at the brain in real time. A great deal is being deduced, and that's from the commercial side. From the military side, the same is being done. The idea of looking at the brain with greater and greater levels of resolution as it's engaged in thinking, and then being able to create signal generators that can recreate those same signals and impose them on another brain is actually research going on by DARPA right now. And the idea is to transfer thought directly from one individual to another, utilizing technology as an intermediary. And so two things are happening. The sort of figuring out how to make that happen on the transfer side, and the other side is the interpretation of data. And the better our computing, the higher and faster our computing gets in terms of the capacity, the higher the resolution of human brain function. And that high resolution then brings us the opportunity for some profound changes in terms of mental health practice, but at the same time, some huge temptation for manipulation. And I think that's where I get very concerned.
The government has learned that fear controls the population. They've learned this very well. Call it propaganda, whatever. They've learned that if people are afraid, they can be controlled. How did that come about?
Well, this is it's interesting. When you look at fear, first of all, if you look at an EEG, of the brain sort of being mapped in real time when you're engaged in various emotions, when you're experiencing emotions of fear, anxiety, worry, what you get are very incoherent brain patterns, the kind that are more associated with flight or fight responses, the kind that suspend higher ordered thinking, or what you could say is slower thinking, slower, more rhythmic thinking associated with the higher states of consciousness, including just good creative intellectual work, and then dropping down from there into other states of awareness, but it's the slower pace, the rhythmic pace. Fear and anxiety, you can never, I repeat, never reach your higher states of consciousness as long as you have this background fear or worry sort of haunting you. And so you want to control the population. It is the easiest way. Religions do it.
And do targets of organized gang stalking when they're experiencing electronic harassment, constantly being threatened about what's going to happen to them? Are they? Yeah, to crowd out their own thinking, to keep them in a fear and panic state constantly. Yeah, combine that with the remote neural monitoring, manipulation, and influencing, the remote behavioral influencing technology, and the open organized gang stalking. Yeah, this is what targets of organized gang stalking experience on a daily basis, non-stop. San Diego, California, Leslie Williams.